The smash hit Grand Theft Auto V not only has fascinating writing which exposes the Illuminati agenda through the game's social commentary and storytelling, but also exposes the true nature of UFOs and aliens. Upon 100% completion of the game and when the conditions are right, you will see a UFO which appears and disappears on a mountaintop depending on your location. Also, twice in the story you witness aliens while under the influence of hallucinogenic drugs. You are even abducted by them after taking the more powerful drug. Interestingly, these events actually occur in real life, as you will soon see, and are interdimensional in nature.
What's your name?
People can have psychotic episodes, screaming at demons only they see, dangers only they feel.
Dude, he's trying to hit him. He's trying to hit him, look.
He's just trying to attack people.
I know.
They can get violent, lashing out at themselves or at strangers, picking fights with parked cars, damaging property.
He's dangerous, though, he is.
He's dangerous, absolutely.
They're often oblivious to the risks they take, climbing barefoot under a high bridge, rolling around, literally rolling around in traffic on a busy street. The drug makes the heartbeat accelerate so high, the internal body temperature sizzles, so stripping seems like the best way to cool off. Who knows what inner impulse then makes somebody want to jump between cars.
What did you think when you first started using it?
I just thought of it as almost like buying an energy drink, or sometimes in gas stations they have like the vitamin packs or the energy packs, something like that, because that's how it felt at first, just a stimulant that give you energy.
How much does the drug cost?
I was paying $20 a gram for it.
And 1 gram would last you?
Usually a day.
How quickly addicting is it?
Pretty quickly. Basically, from when I first started, I had to have it every day, even though it was changing my life and my brain. It's like a personalized hell for, for whoever you are, a specified individual hell just for you.
By the time she returned home from her Colorado visit, Hannah was hooked, and it was horrible, starting with paranoia and ramping up to hearing voices and having vivid hallucinations.
I thought I'd been abducted by aliens. Voices told me I had spiders in the back of my throat, and I would see them, and at one point I thought I was turning into a giant spider. I felt that I had bugs in my skin, and I had to get them out. I would get a flashlight and look in the back of my throat and see spiders walking around back there, and they would only bite me, and I would feel them bite me, if I would try to remove them. There were visuals I would get that were so grotesque. They're like nothing I could ever even think up, or nothing I've seen in a movie. It felt very demonic, very evil, sinister.
Hannah seldom left the house, rarely left her room, rarely ate or slept. Since she vehemently denied being on drugs, her parents sent her to a psychiatrist, afraid that she was bipolar like someone else in the family. In the midst of the mania, Hannah felt compelled to write about what was happening.
When I wrote, I would hear voices threatening me. Don't write that down about us. Don't give us out to anybody. Don't turn us in. We'll have you killed. So writing was my salvation at the time, and I almost became afraid to do that anymore.
As she was writing, something so strange happened. Hannah was suddenly able to write backwards.
When you see it without a mirror, it looks completely illegible.
Yeah, I can't tell at all what you're writing.
Yeah, it
here.
just looks like scribbles, but then if it's in a mirror, all of a sudden you can read it.
It says, "Why would you do that to me? Why?" Do you remember who you were asking that question to?
Yeah, all the voices that were calling me crazy, and I was convinced that it was their fault that I was crazy.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most severe, I mean, how dangerous do you think bath salts are?
11.
Jeff O'Shell was Hannah's counselor when she finally got into treatment. He says her hallucinations are entirely typical for bath salts users.
Many of them will see dead bodies that aren't there, whether it be animals or humans. They see dead bodies that nobody else is seeing. They can actually feel the body, they could see the body. Others are seeing people following them. One of the symptoms I see very often is they'll see a complete stranger and they want to confront this stranger and let this person know that they know him, that they know they're being followed.
Tell me what it was like at its worst when you were on bath salts.
I felt like I had died and gone to hell, and I wondered at times if I was alive anymore. If it can do what it did to me and to how happy I was and bring on anxiety and depression for the first time in my life and give me the hallucinations that it did, I don't even know what it's capable of doing to some other people. I would love for people to just take my word for it and let me have gone through this for them, for everybody that I can.
Very interesting how this woman says in her own words that while under the influence of bath salts, she was abducted by aliens. She later mentioned that her ordeal was demonic and sinister. It is a well-guarded occult secret that the use of drugs opens the user to demonic influence. Famous occultist Aleister Crowley wrote of this topic. He claimed to receive guidance and direction from demons through the use of powerful drugs. He died a heroin addict. He even claimed that his book of the law was dictated to him by a demon. Also, Aleister Crowley drew this portrait in the likeness of a type of deity he called Lem. The resemblance to a typical gray alien is startling. Now listen to the words of ex-Grand Druid priest John Todd on this topic. John Todd left the occult and became a Christian. He used the occult knowledge he had to greatly expose Satanism. He was murdered by occultists for his actions.
Question, can you tell us about UFOs?
My sister, before my wife came around, used to be leader of the state of Ohio, the high priestess there, of the whole state. And her little pastime was calling up, supposedly filling the sky with UFOs and watching everybody's excitement. And some of the most outstanding sightings were in the early 70s in Ohio. And she used to laugh about it because she'd be standing in a circle out in the field somewhere calling up demons. And that's all they were angels of light playing games in the sky. Remember, a demon, get the little spooky picture. There are a fallen angel, an unclean spirit. They can assume any form or go into anything except a Christian who walks in the Spirit all the time. Know any? You know, or in other words, a Christian who keeps it under the blood and so on. But they can assume forms, including spacemen or solid objects like flying saucers or so on. That's why when they appear on the radar scope and a jet gets up there, they vanish right in front of the palace eye because they're nothing but a spirit.
Very interesting food for thought. Now listen to this strange call to syndicated talk show host Art Bell, made in 1997.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.